We're going? Okay. Great. Hi, Glenn Bertelsen, Director of The Miseducation of Joy, and I'm sitting here with actor Tom Pantera, and I'm pleased to have him join the cast of The Miseducation of Joy. He will be playing the part of Jim Burns, the professor in the class that Joy and Paul both ultimately find themselves in, and it's a rather troubling character that you find yourself portraying, Tom.
Well, it's a great opportunity to do this. It's again great to work with you, Glenn. I guess we've got a part here where I can really relate to, having been a professor at the college level for many years, and experienced firsthand the kind of really the kind of authority and control that professors can have and unfortunately can abuse, because they do have a captive audience.
Yes, they do.
And usually, although not always, a much younger and impressionable audience. And so having been involved in a profession of talk for many years, you can get pretty doggone good at persuasion and presenting an argument to your advantage, and really being able to control and limit the exchange and the discourse that takes place. So it's very tempting to take advantage of your position to really dominate a conversation and direct it the way you'd like it to go. And you have to be very, very careful, because it is a great responsibility.
Big time, yep.
You have a classroom full of students who many times they don't know what to expect, and in many cases they are not as skeptical as they should be. Yeah. They're unfortunately they're ready to believe just about whatever you have to say, especially if you put it in a way that is somewhat eloquent, articulate, and there's a lot of these kids who, for whatever reason, are ready to hear what they haven't heard at home, who are ready to question the way they've always been taught.
Sure.
And many times the professor is more than willing
Right.
to feed that curiosity.
Yep.
And as the movie, I think, shows, they are the professor is very good at limiting dissent from students, and in some cases, utilizing the power of the grade or the
Sure.
the power of the credit to maybe intimidate or inhibit
Sure.
a lot of the speech that normally would take place if you and I were talking and there wasn't a grade at stake. If we were on a level playing field.
Very true. Yeah. What do you think? Like in the book, you've got the Paul Agard character, who is not one of the younger people. He's not 18, 19, 20. He's maybe early 30s, and he is ready to go head to head with you. Have you ever faced anyone like that in your classes?
Yes, absolutely. And if I weren't so comfortable, I am not your typical teacher, because I am a Christian.
Yep.
And one of the things that I cherish about teaching is what that character brings to class, and that is this skepticism, this ability to fence with me on more of an equal playing field. And in the movie, the character's not ready for that. He's used to having the status quo. He's used to having the advantages that a person in his position has. And as you see, as the movie progresses, he's getting, thank God, really thank God, he is being challenged.
Yep.
That God has placed this individual in this classroom,
Sure.
in a position where, not just for the other students, but for himself,
Yep.
to really be exposed to the other side of the argument.
Sure.
And I hand it to Paul, the student in class, who is increasingly unwilling to back down.
Yep.
And is saying, hey, look, I do have the truth on my side, and if you're going to let me in these doorways, you are going to have to be ready for for action, because I'm gonna deliver. I'm gonna say what I know is the truth.
Right. And you know what's nice about that is that Paul also, somewhere in the script, he knows that you are angry at God, and he has really pinpointed that, and so it's not all about your knowledge versus, he knows deeper. He has this sense that you're angry at God. Yeah.
Well, and what a great thing for people that are going to watch this movie. What a great insight for them to have, because there are so many people out there that are they need to be understood. If you're going to try to talk with them about God, and you can't ignore their own personal experience, their own personal bitterness, or whatever it was that made them or makes them mad at God. And I think that when you look at someone through those kinds of loving eyes, sympathetic to where they must have come to in their life for them to have such a negative attitude towards God, you're taking a giant step in reaching them.
Very much so.
So,
one thing I really like about you, because I've seen you now in 2 movies of ours, and some theater acting, you do just such a great job. Tom's a talented guy, and he won't tell you that, but I will tell you that. But one thing is that in My Angel, you had a scene inside of a car with the main actor, and you guys were talking back and forth, and it was so emotional, and you had such compassion, and I'm so glad that you're on board with this part, because all the way through the movie you can just play the tough guy all the way through. You've got all the answers, supposedly, but as time goes on, you really begin to break down, your character does, and by the end of the movie, you're sitting on this girl's deathbed. And having that emotion is really important, and so I really appreciate you being on board with us, and can't wait to get started.
Me too.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, buddy. Who in the world?